and a ReVamp. Is it something in your career? How does it for you? Was it important for you to have that band after Forever?
It would be very weird if I would say, nah, not really. You know
Yeah.
what? I just saw 12 years of my life disappear and I wanted to continue in metal. So I started a new band, but that was not very important.
But I can imagine that it must have been hard to start this band because you were in a successful band and it stopped because you didn't want it to stop. And then you had to all of a sudden had to make a career change. Was it hard to enter this band and to record music in hindsight? That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay. That's something really different. And indeed, yes, it was not easy because it was definitely a few steps down on the ladder compared to where we climbed up to slowly but surely with After Forever. At the same time, I was also very much into the heavier shit. The heavier side of After Forever expanded too, so that's also less accessible. As I could have also said, I'm going to take that more almost commercial sounding side of After Forever into something more, but I never really liked that. I wanted to go rougher, so that also of course didn't make it easier. The fight was really there also because I found it hard to get the right people to work with me, or better said, I found it hard to give work away. So I started to do way too much myself, which also made it extremely hard to do, and which ultimately led up to my burnout. I got somewhere during the world tour of the first album.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something that you still would like to revisit, ReVamp, maybe one.
No, because it's a band different than this project Northward, where we are with two people. That was tricky enough to plan, to be honest. If there's one thing that was tricky about this project, it was planning it. Having a child that's now 1.5 years, having a band the size of Nightwish, which is demanding. And Jørn Viggo with his bands and projects, plus a very demanding day job. He has a good function in a big company in Norway. So it's not like he can just say, I take a couple of weeks and I'm going to do this. So that was very, very tricky. That's just two people. A band was ReVamp with 6 people. You want everybody there, but you can't just have 6 people or 5 others in my case waiting for me whenever I would have time. And that was my ultimate reason to say, this is what it's going to be like, and these people I make music with are fantastic musicians who should not be sitting and waiting around for me while I'm having a bigger band that will always take the lead. So that's not fair. Plus, for fans, it's not fair. It's either 100% or not. With a band, you can't really do it a little bit here and a little bit there. Not in that sense. So I don't really see any future in that, unfortunately, because I fought very hard to start it and was very proud of what we made. I fought hard also for that second album, which had to be created while already being a Nightwish. So it was definitely a fight is a big word because that sounds very negative, but yeah, everything I had went in there, and I had to come to the conclusion that it's not fair to continue this, and I had to, I had to say goodbye to it, which was not nice to do.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then Nightwish for you. I came to Nijmegen, I think, and then we did an interview, I think, for ReVamp and also Nightwish. I think you were just it was announced that you were in Nightwish. How big of a life-changing event was it for you to be asked for Nightwish? Was it really a big life-changing event, or was it for you a natural progress? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, maybe natural progress, but that would be almost, that would be too much to say. Because that would almost mean that I was expecting it. Who on earth would expect a band such as Nightwish to give you, of all people, the phone call, hey, can you come and join us now? So, Yeah, that turned everything upside down. That put ReVamp in a different daylight. My relationship at the time didn't survive it. I eventually immigrated twice. So if I look back at my life, the last 6 years, there is almost nothing the same.
Yeah. But how did you cope? Thinking about the burnout that you had, was it hard to make all these big decisions, or was it just easier because of what you have went through?
Fortunately, most of the bigger decisions didn't happen all at once. But in all honesty, I do feel that the burnout helped me to do what I do. I do more than I've ever done. And indeed, like you said, there were big decisions to be made. There's a lot on my plate, in a constant, it seems. Even when I say I'm going to take some time off, it's impossible for me. I just say yes to way too many nice things, and then I'm busy as hell anyway. Which can be a little bit dangerous, because that burnout I had is always right behind me.
Yeah.
But I'm aware of that. I think for a lot of people, stress levels are getting way too high with them being unaware of them. I think stress is one of the most dangerous things in our undangerous life. We're in the comfort of the West. Stress is really, really, really something I find underestimated in general. The effect on the body and the mind is huge. And you don't just meditate or yoga that away. Not at first. That's a process. So the good thing about it is that I know the signals, and I have taken my time to figure out why I got the burnout. Because it was not because I worked too hard. It was because I worked too hard in a wrong way. Yeah. And now I work differently, and need to stay aware of how I work and keep looking in the mirror and reflect on what I do. And think once, twice longer before saying yes, even to the nicest of things. Sometimes I take a bit too much, like I did actually in the end of last year. A lot of different projects, so a lot of stuff came out for me in this year, which is super, super nice. All old stuff I'm proud of, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but keep it in the back of your mind, Miss Jansen, because you are gonna, run out of energy. And especially now with a young child, it's very important that I stay healthy. In general, that was a very important thing as a sister, but now even more. So that is always a good mirror as well.
And what did you learn the last few years being in a band like Nightwish? Was it a bigger level on every field of production, maybe singing and songwriting, compared to what you previously did?
Yes, but at the same time, I think the biggest importance in general is the chemistry between people. Yeah. Especially when you want to make a step up and everything becomes a bit bigger. The chemistry between people needs to be good. And that has been good, very, very good since the get-go, actually, with me and the guys, and has only become stronger. So in that sense, the pressure doesn't always feel like this kind of pressure, because we're very comfortable with each other and in what we do. And I'm glad for all the experience I got to have throughout the years to be more comfortable with my own, with myself and what I can do and can't do. And I think we have a very natural way of triggering each other's talents, whether it comes to stage performances or recordings. Of course, the writing is in hand of Tuomas Solopainen, our keyboard player. But for me to work on songs I haven't written was a huge challenge, and to take the freedom to take them into my own hands and to give it back to him and say, what do you think? That was great. You don't do that when you don't feel comfortable. Yeah. And also that whole experience was really lifting everything, indeed, as you say, to a next level, but not with a feeling like, ooh, now I need to extra do well, because I always feel I need to do well regardless of maybe the level of the band. Mm-hmm.
And what did you, singing-wise, learn the last few years that now you actually said that helped you to, that now the time is right for Northward to be released and not 10 years ago? What sort of singing?
That was really that rocky, rough edge on the voice that I mentioned earlier. With that, it took to the next level with ReVamp, where I even went into growling and really trying to, sing rough and not make it sound pretty, but really roughened up, and trying to put my finger on what it actually is that make rock singing sound like rock singing, different than opera or somebody singing a musical. Because sometimes even just without a rock, like a rough edge, like a distortion on the voice, something can sound rock more than pop or more. So also from a more like a vocal performer point of view, a vocal teacher point of view, that was an interesting thing for me to put my finger onto. Not something I can explain really easily. That's easier with some examples, but that was very interesting and something I really took my time for to get to know, which made that feeling of like, I think I control this better than 10 years ago. Maybe if I would have recorded it 10 years from now, I would have said the same. So you never know.
No, but I think, like I said, I think that it all feels like the evolution that you've made that makes sense now. What do you want this project to achieve for you? What is it? What do you want from this project?
Initially, I just wanted to release it. I made something that I think is great with Jørn Viggo 10 years ago. It's been laying around. It's good. Here it is. But we're working on it, and now that we've released two tracks and getting reactions back, now that I've been doing a lot of interviews with very excited journalists, I am actually more and more realizing, and that's really weird what I'm going to say, but I'm now going to finally share this with the world. Yeah. It might be like, that was the thing, right? You make an album and you release it, but now it starts to really sink in with me. This is really, I'm super proud of this. And with every positive reaction I get, I'm already beyond pleased because I am stepping out of my borders. I'm doing something different than I have been doing in the last 20 years, which means that some people might react like, but it's so different, I don't like it because of that, which I would have totally understand. So if you expect me to do another After Forever ReVamp Nightwish song or album, then that won't be disappointing. But if you're open-minded, like it seems to be that everybody is, great, So I'm very excited about the release now, and I'm really proud that it's coming. And I don't have the ambition for this to be the next big thing because I already have a big thing, and I'm super happy with where I am. But from a musician's point of view, I'm extremely glad to be sharing the music that I'm proud of and that we made, and that came out even better than I could have dreamt of. So that, in that sense, my ambition is already fulfilled.
Yeah, but I think this opens new horizons. I think the songs and it's, I think it's from all the things that you've done. It's it doesn't fit like all the other projects neatly into each other. That's what I think. But so I think you might even get more profile and more outside of the metal scene.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, that's something I don't even dare to dream of, because I know that my entire career has been founded within this metal scene. But if it would be so that a real rock fan could also really appreciate it and have to stumble upon it, that would be perfect, because it is music. It doesn't have to be in a certain box anyway. So music could reach people that like it, then great.
Okay.
These things are happening because I'm getting the next phone call.
Yeah, I know. Floor, thank you for your time. And well, I think this might bring you even more than your previous things have done. So good luck.
Thank you very much.